Welcome along. Hope you're enjoying the Aquaponics Open Day. The business has changed a lot from the early days when it was very much about hydroponics, and at that stage it was a very new technology. Today it's now adopted as one of the major ways of growing a whole range of high-end, high-energy vegetables, tomatoes, capsicums, cucumbers and eggplants, as well as lettuce, are probably the major crops that are grown through this system. For me, one of the exciting things was the development of aquaponics, where you can actually grow all those same veggies and a host of others as well, but instead of using a manufactured nutrient solution, you actually depend on the fish to supply through their manure the food that the plant needs. Now, it's a beautiful circular system that goes on when you have fish in a system like that, because their role is to consume as much food as you can give them and produce as much manure as they possibly can. And that then feeds the vegetables, and the role of the veggies is actually to draw that nutrient out of the water so that the fish can live in it. So fish put out a lot of ammonia. They excrete a lot of ammonia. If you didn't control the water, the fish would die because of ammonia poisoning. So the plants are actually performing a really important role. Now, there's one organism that I haven't mentioned that's almost as vital as the fish and the veggies, and that's bacteria. So bacteria are able to break down the ammonia into nitrite, which is still a toxic chemical, but then they further break it down into nitrate, which is the food of life. That's what plants need to grow on, and basically we also consume a lot of that stuff. So I'm now going to show you our famous bean salad. It became famous because we did a lot of TV shoots at home, and I used to go to the cupboard, grab a couple of cans of mixed beans, and could make a lunch out of that was a bit different. And the rest of the ingredients were whatever I could pick from around the garden or I happened to have in the bottom of the fridge. So it's an easy one to pull out of the air, so as to speak, but it's a pretty tasty one as well. So to get started, I'm going to start chopping up some veggies, and I'm going to put them into this bowl for the moment.
Do you want to do that?
Yep, that would be great. There's only one knife, and this is mine, so I might have to do it all. Okay, so sweet corn. Don't know if you've used it like this before, but in a salad it is actually quite sensational, very sweet. Another mystery ingredient, mystery in the sense that most people don't know what to do with this particular vegetable. It has an aniseed flavour. It's called fennel, or sweet fennel, or bulb fennel. It has Italian origins. So what I've just done here is to cut that in half, and you can see that it's almost like leaves unfolding like an onion. Now, every part of this particular bulb is now edible. And if you've never tried this, can I suggest that you go down to the shop, grab one, slice it up very finely, mix it with a bit of lemon juice, spot of salt, and that's it. Maybe a bit of lemon juice, if I said that, didn't I? Lemon juice, olive oil and salt are the three magic ingredients. And let me promise you, you will not be able to stop eating it. It is just so delicious. So I'm going to use some of that in there as well. All right, next up, a lovely red capsicum. Now a red capsicum is a ripe green capsicum. So all capsicums start out green, and if you leave them long enough they then turn red. And it's quite ironic that the price of the red is always 50% more than the price of the green. Now while we're on that subject, the same goes with olives, you know. Every black olive starts out green. So if you pick them early, it's a green olive, and if you pick them later, it's black. Now capsicums are a fabulous crop to grow in hydroponic and aquaponic systems, and I would reckon that probably 90% of the high-end capsicums that you see in the shops are now grown through this system. So we've got some feta cheese here, next ingredient, and this just gives it a nice richness, and it adds another layer of sort of flavours to the brew. So we'll throw all that in. Yes. One of my favourite fruits is undoubtedly avocados. Okay, so I've just opened that up halfway and just put the cuts through it. And then if I get the spoon in the right place, the whole lot will come out almost as one. There we are, we nailed it. Okay, of course you've got to have beans in there. These are canned beans and they're not bad, but we're now soaking our own and cooking them, and I reckon they work beautifully. Okay, thank you, Delia. Now, what we have is my secret ingredient of the famous bean salad, and that's fresh, straight out of the garden herbs. This is basil, sweet basil it's called. This is parsley, and you can see this stuff is just thumping along. It's so healthy and rich in flavour. This is one you may not know. It's called chervil, and it's as easy as parsley to grow. It looks like parsley, but it's got a distinct aniseed flavour. So what I might do, I'm going to sacrifice one leaf here and ask you to pass it around and just bite a little, just nip a bit off like so, and have a taste. Just to prove I'm not trying to poison you. Okay, so that's quite an interesting and unusual one. I guess one of the other secrets of the flavour selection here are the red onions. So that gives it a nice bit of a bite without having to use chilli. And I'm thinking also I might throw a bit more sweet corn in. This is a lovely addition to this particular salad. Okay, that's great. Now I might get you, Delia, to chop up some herbs for me. Already it's a very, very colourful looking salad. Lots of interesting flavours. The last ingredient is the locally produced extra virgin olive oil. Yes, please. So coriander, worth a talk about that. Now coriander is the quintessential Thai herb. It's quite a tricky one to grow because it tends to bolt into flower very quickly, so the leaf changes in shape, and in addition to that it then produces seed. Now the seed is edible, but most people are looking for the green leaf, so the perfect time to grow coriander is in the winter in Perth, because the conditions are cool and it doesn't bolt into seed. There is also a variety called slow bolt, and the idea of that is it keeps its foliage longer. But right now, from winter right through into early spring, perfect time to grow coriander. And when you do it, don't throw away the roots, because there's more flavour in the stem and roots at the base than there is in the foliage. So You can use that in all your cooked dishes as well, and you get two for the price of one, as I see it.
Yep.
Okay, so we're pretty well ready to rock and roll here in terms of a tasting. So there's all our mixed herbs, and you can see we haven't skimped on those. There's a real ton of fresh herb flavour going in there. We've put the oil in, so now it's a matter of just giving it a bit of a stir.
No salt.
No, there's no salt in here. Now, of course, olive oil is the basis of the very famous Mediterranean diet, and it is, contrary to a lot of expectations, actually it's a very good cooking oil. So the smoking point is well above the temperature needed for deep frying, so don't be afraid to use it in the pot as well. All right, well, that's pretty well mixed. Delia, I might hand over to you now to spoon that out, and we have some little spoons just here to go for there.